A new story appears on computers and phones around the world. It is a very shocking story. The headline says that China has changed our planet. It says China made the Earth's rotation slower. Many people read this online and want to know more. They feel surprised and a little worried. The story is about a famous project in China called the Three Gorges Dam. This dam is a giant wall of concrete and steel. It goes across the very long Yangtze River. The dam is an amazing example of modern engineering. It is one of the biggest structures that people have ever built. The wall is very long, almost 2.5 kilometers from one side to the other. It is also very tall. Behind this huge wall, there is a giant lake. This lake is not natural. The dam created it. This new lake is called a reservoir, and it stretches for hundreds of kilometers. It is very long and deep, and it holds a massive amount of water. The water is extremely heavy. It weighs 42 billion tons. The dam lifts all of this water high above its natural sea level. The story about the slow Earth spreads like fire across the internet. People quickly post it and share it on social media websites like Facebook and Twitter. Friends tell other friends about it. Soon, millions of people have seen the story. They discuss it in online comments, sharing their opinions. This story is so popular because it mixes two powerful things. It uses some real science, which makes it believable. But it also uses people's strong feelings about China. Some people read it and feel wonder. They are amazed that a country can build something so big. They see it as a sign of China's growing power. Other people feel fear. They worry when one country becomes so powerful. They think it could be dangerous for the world. The story becomes a mix of real facts, amazement, and anxiety. 2. Is the Earth slower? The science behind the story is easy to understand if you think about an ice skater. When an ice skater spins, they can change their speed. If they pull their arms close to their body, they spin very fast. When they put their arms out, they spin more slowly. They change how their weight is placed, and this changes their speed. The Earth is like a giant spinning skater. It spins on an axis, which is an imaginary line from the North Pole to the South Pole. The Three Gorges Dam holds a huge amount of water, about 39 trillion kilograms. The dam lifted this water 175 meters higher than the normal sea level. This moved a lot of weight farther away from the center of the Earth. It is just like the ice skater putting their arms out. This must make the Earth spin a little slower. Scientists at organizations like NASA calculated this change. They found that the Earth's spin is now slower. But the change is very, very small. The dam makes each day longer by only 0.06 microseconds. A microsecond is 1/1,000,000th of a second. This is an amount of time that is impossible for any person to feel. Our clocks are not affected by it. It is a real change, but it is too small to matter in our daily lives. It helps to compare the dam's effect to other things. Natural events change the Earth's spin much more. The gravity from the moon is always pulling on the Earth. This makes our planet spin slower over a very long time. The moon's effect is thousands of times bigger than the dam's. Also, large earthquakes can change the Earth's spin. The big earthquake in Japan in 2011 made the day shorter by 1.8 microseconds. That is 30 times bigger than the effect of the dam. So, it is true that the dam slowed the Earth's rotation, but the effect is so small that it is not important. It is a fact that sounds amazing, but it does not change our world. The change is real, but it is almost nothing. 3. A very old idea. The Three Gorges Dam is not a new project. The idea is more than 100 years old. It started with a very important man named Sun Yat-sen. He is often called the father of modern China. In 1919, he wrote about his big dream, to build a huge dam on the Yangtze River. He believed this dam could change China forever. He thought it could make the country stronger and more modern. Sun Yat-sen had this idea for a very important reason. The Yangtze River was a lifeline for China, but it was also very dangerous. For thousands of years, the river brought terrible floods. These floods destroyed farms, homes, and whole cities. They killed many thousands of people and left millions homeless. Sun Yat-sen saw the dam as a modern solution to this very old problem. He wanted to use technology to control the powerful river and protect his people. But Sun's big dream did not happen for a long time. Soon after he shared his idea, China faced many difficult years. There were wars inside the country and with other countries. These problems and many big changes in the government stopped the project before it could start. For many decades, the plan for the dam was just an idea on paper. China was too busy with other issues. The country had to wait. After the revolution in 1949, China's new leaders also thought about building the dam. The leader Mao Zedong liked the idea. It matched his goal of making China a strong industrial country. Later, in the 1980s, the idea became very important again. China's economy was growing very fast. The country needed a lot more electricity for its new factories and growing cities. Power shortages were a big problem. The old dream now had new reasons. The dam was still a way to stop the dangerous floods, but it was also a way to make huge amounts of electricity. For China's leaders, the dam became a symbol. It would show the world that China was a modern and powerful nation. It was a project to show China's strength and success. The century-old idea was finally ready to become real. 4. A difficult choice. In the 1980s, China's economy was growing very fast. The country needed much more electricity for its new cities and factories.
The government decided it was time to build the Three Gorges Dam. An important leader named Li Peng strongly supported the project. He said the dam would give China clean energy. He also said it would stop the terrible floods from the Yangtze River and show the world China's strength. But this was a difficult choice, and not everyone in China agreed. The plan started a huge debate across the country. Many smart people were worried. Scientists, writers, and other experts thought building the dam was a bad idea. They were afraid it would cause serious problems. One of the main voices against the dam was an activist and writer named Dai King. In 1989, she published a famous book called Yangtze, Yangtze. In the book, she wrote about all the dangers of the project. She explained that the dam would hurt the environment. It would also force more than 1 million people to leave their homes. The book became very popular, but the government was not happy. They banned the book and put Dai King in prison for almost a year. The debate was very strong. Finally, in April 1992, the government had a vote to approve the project. In the end, the vote was yes. The dam was approved. But the result was very surprising. In China's government, most people usually vote yes for big projects. This time, a large number of people voted no. Even more people refused to vote at all. About 1/3 of the leaders did not support the project. This showed how controversial the dam was. The decision to build it was not easy. Many people felt it was the wrong choice. 5. The dam is built. The building of the Three Gorges Dam started in 1994. It was not a small job. It became the biggest construction project in the history of the world. For nearly 2 decades, the area around the Yangtze River was a very busy place. It was noisy with the sound of machines. At the busiest time, more than 40,000 workers were there. They worked day and night. Their job was huge. They moved mountains of earth and rock. They poured millions of tons of concrete. Engineers did something incredible. They changed the path of the powerful river so they could build the dam. A big part of the plan was to create a giant lake behind the dam. This man-made lake is called a reservoir. To make the reservoir, a very large area of land had to be covered with water. The area was enormous, more than 600 kilometers long. When the main wall of the dam was finished, the government began to fill the reservoir. Slowly, day by day, the water levels started to rise. It was like a new sea growing and covering the land. The rising water flooded everything. 13 cities went under the water. 140 towns also disappeared. And more than 1,300 villages vanished forever. These were not empty places. These were living communities. People had homes, schools, and businesses there. Many of these villages were very old. Families lived there for hundreds of years. Important historical sites, like ancient temples, were also lost. They now sit at the bottom of the deep reservoir. Because of the flood, more than 1.3 million people had to move. The government forced them to leave their homes. It was a sad time for these families. They lost their houses and their land. The government promised them new homes and a better life, but the reality was often different. Many people were moved to new towns in the mountains. The land there was not good for farming. Others were moved to big cities without the skills to find jobs. The support was not enough. Many families became poor and struggled for years. The dam was built, but for over 1 million people, the price was very high. 6. What people think. The Three Gorges Dam is more than just a wall of concrete across a river. For different people around the world, it means very different things.
It is like a test where people see what they want to see, based on their own ideas. The dam is a big topic of discussion, and not everyone agrees if it is a good thing or a bad thing. It shows how one project can create very strong and opposite opinions. The Chinese government sees the dam as a great national success. They are very proud of this huge project. For them, it is proof that China is a modern and powerful country. Government officials say the dam has many benefits. It produces a large amount of clean energy. This means China does not need to burn as much coal, which helps to keep the air cleaner. The dam also controls the dangerous Yangtze River. It stops the terrible floods that killed thousands of people in the past. It also makes the river deeper, so big ships can travel on it all year. This helps trade and business. The government believes the dam proves their system works well to build a better future for the country. However, many people in other countries, especially in the West, see the dam in a different way. For them, it is a powerful symbol of China's growing strength, and they worry about it. They feel that China built the dam alone, without asking other countries for their opinion or help. This is a problem because the dam affects rivers that flow into other countries, like Vietnam. These countries had no voice in the decision. Some people think this shows that China does not always care about international rules or the environment. When they hear the viral story about the dam slowing the Earth, it confirms their fears. It feels like China is changing the world by itself. So, is the dam a great achievement or a worrying sign? The answer depends on who you ask and where they live. In China, it is often seen as a fantastic step forward. It is a solution to old and serious problems like floods and the need for energy. But outside of China, it can look like a powerful country doing whatever it wants without thinking about its neighbors. These different opinions show that the Three Gorge Dam is not just a building project. It is also a very important political story for the whole world. 7. The real problems. The story about the slow Earth is popular online, but many scientists who study nature believe this story is a distraction. It takes attention away from the real serious issues. The Three Gorge Dam has caused many big problems for the environment. These problems affect people animals and the land along the Yangtze River. The scientists are worried because these real problems are much more important than the tiny change to the length of a day. One of the biggest problems is the damage to animals. The dam created a huge lake which flooded the natural homes of many creatures. A very special animal, the Yangtze River dolphin, used to live in the river. After the dam was built, this dolphin disappeared. Scientists now say it is extinct, which means it is gone forever. Other animals are also in trouble. The Chinese sturgeon is a very old type of fish. Its population has become very small because the dam blocks its path and changes the water. The water in the new lake behind the dam has also become polluted. It moves slowly, so pollution from cities and factories gets trapped. The dam also changed the river itself. For thousands of years, the Yangtze River carried rich soil from the mountains to the sea. This soil made the land downstream very good for farming. Now the dam traps most of this soil. As a result, farms further down the river do not get the nutrients they need. The land where the river meets the sea, an area called a delta, is also shrinking. Without new soil from the river, the sea is slowly washing it away. This hurts the ecosystem and the people who live there. These environmental issues are serious and complicated. The story about slowing down the Earth is simple and exciting. It is easy to share on social media. People find a simple fact more interesting than a difficult story about ecological damage. Environmental scientists feel frustrated. The small, unimportant truth gets a lot of attention, while the huge, damaging truths are often ignored. The real story of the dam is not about physics, it is about the loss of nature. Final story. In the end, the story is true. The Three Gorges Dam did make the Earth's rotation a little slower. However, this fact is not really important. The change is only 0.06 microseconds, an incredibly small amount of time. It is too small for any person to ever feel. It does not change our lives at all. The popular story hides the more important truths. This simple headline became famous around the world. Its popularity shows how we choose information today. We are often attracted to simple, dramatic stories instead of complex ones. The full story of the dam is very complex, with many good and bad parts. But a simple, exciting fact is easier to share online. The dam itself is a powerful symbol. It represents progress, ambition, and a nation's strength. But it also represents destruction and suffering. To build this huge project, the government flooded cities and villages. Over 1 million people lost their homes. The dam also caused great harm to the Yangtze River's environment. Many types of fish and animals are now gone forever. This viral story about physics teaches us more about our modern world than it does about the Earth. It shows how a dramatic fact can get more attention than the real, serious problems, like helping people who lost their homes or protecting nature. It is a lesson about the real price of giant projects. It asks us to look deeper than the first story we see.
What do you think is the most important part of the Three Gorges Dam story? The engineering, the politics, or the environmental impact?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.